Your day started right. From our shack to yours, this is Coffee and Ham Radios. We are live in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Howdy, everybody. We are live on Coffee and Ham Radios. There were 3, and now there are 4. Welcome back, Chuck.
Yes, I was looking for a last-minute radio that I can't find, so...
That seems to be the theme of today's show.
That's the theme of today's show, yeah.
Yeah. Today we're going to talk about weird HTs, kind of the weirdest handhelds you might have seen or might have in your possession. If you have a weird HT, drop it in the chat over there and let me know what it is, and we might pull up some pictures, or if you have some pictures, share them out on the Discord, and we're going to talk. And I couldn't think of anybody that had any more weird radios than my friend John over here, so we invited John on the show. And John's going to show us some of the weird radios that he has, including the Golden HT. He was showing that off earlier. That's worth at least 50 cents more, right, John?
That's a Temu special.
I have a couple of those.
Well, they drop a free one into every fifth order that you buy off of Temu, yeah.
Well, see, and you assume it's a radio. Maybe it's just a gold wrap around a delicious chocolate radio. Oh, that would be a great. There's your marketing.
Chocolate radio.
There you go.
My favorite.
It's your next marketing.
Give those away at the show booths next year. That would be awesome. Everybody recovered from Dayton. Everybody's got their muscle aches and pains. Their backs in the right spot.
I'm almost back to normal wake-up time. Not quite.
Yeah.
Close.
My wake-up time hasn't changed, really. It was only an hour difference for me, but and my body parts have all recovered.
What's weird is I do good going back and going ahead, but I don't do good getting my body back to, I usually get up around 6, and I've been getting up at 4 the last couple of days. So today I made it to 5:30. So
it's your age. That's not uncommon, though, right?
Wow. Yeah, my young age, it's not uncommon.
He's older than
little
me.
Kids, they do get up early, you know? Oh, I thought you were talking about being young.
Not you.
Oh, it's your regular derogatory old joke. Oh, gotcha.
Yes, pretty much.
Well, Jim's on the defensive because he knows he's going to catch up to you soon.
I'm never going to catch up to Chuck.
He's actually caught up body-wise.
I think he's passed.
He's grumpier than me, I can tell you that.
I'm not fat. I'm big-boned.
I'm in shape. Round's a shape.
Yeah, round is a shape. And I'm not overweight. I'm just not tall enough.
And round is under height, yeah. You know, and smooth. Round is nice and smooth. You know.
That's right.
You know, if you really think about it, though.
All right, Gendron.
Exercising is dangerous. How many times people running outside, they get mugged, they find dead bodies. I'm sitting at home eating pizza and watching TV, playing with radios. I'm not finding dead bodies. I'm not getting mugged. It's a safety concern, really.
Right?
True,
yeah, absolutely.
John is true.
Yeah,
I agree with John Gendron.
It's wow. At 2, John. At 2.
Right. John, you might be on a different microphone there. It doesn't sound like you're coming through your good mic.
I know. I had a switch, and I'm so sorry about that. Let me try. Oh, is that better?
Because you're closer.
Tap it.
That better. How's that? Is that
tap,
better?
tap, tap. It was from a famous movie. Tap, tap, tap.
Tap the big mic.
Go home.
No, yeah, you're not using that one.
Yeah, no, I'm not.
Go back to your home.
I'm not using my regular one because I've been doing episodes. I've been recording in the studio, and Elgato does not like to play with Rode.
Oh, I had that for a second there.
Yeah, I couldn't resist, Chuck.
Fluffy.
Hey, Chuck, did you put up a comment?
We both. Yeah, we both.
I didn't know you knew how to put up comments, Chuck. That's awesome.
One of us put it up, and the other one took it off.
Pretty soon he's going to be live streaming by himself. That's awesome.
By the way, tomorrow evening, me and the Smoking Ape, I'm just, a plug. We are going to help young Chase, KI5 IRE, I think it is.
Yep.
Build his Apollo. We tried to do it at Dayton, but we just couldn't. Both of us were going different directions, and he was trying to do stuff for his channel. Yeah.
You assume that Ape will be sober by the time that stream is on.
He's on some kind of mandatory detox or something.
Work release program.
Doctor intervention.
Haven't you noticed how grumpy he was lately?
I mean, I made the lasagna.
Detox.
I did
what
my
was it
part.
We were talking about the other night? Oh, the winders. Oh my God.
You can't talk
read
about
2
that,
sentences and forgot the comma.
Yes,
went
he
off.
did.
And I'm like,
I understood what
calm
Chuck
down.
was saying.
Calm down, old man. We're all right. It's okay. We're not going to do it without you, Abe. We promise.
And it wasn't the first time I explained it to him. That was the weird part.
Right.
It was like, of course, the first time it was later at night, and he may not have been on detox yet, so who knows?
Right.
Was he upset that he didn't get to go to Dayton?
I don't know.
Was he upset that he ... Yes.
Yes, he's whatever it is, he's upset.
Yeah, it was funny.
Somehow he survived, but
I used big words in there because it was like, dang, dude. Sorry, that was a package I picked up.
I don't know that anybody's putting in their weird.
Nobody's put a weird radio in yet.
I haven't seen any weird radios in yet.
Yeah,
I had I was looking for it. I had a 1970s Radio Shack CB. Back when you had to pick your channel you wanted. It had 4 channels, I think. It was my dad's, and I swore it was still in there, but unfortunately, the batteries that got left in it and kind of messed things up a little bit. But it was probably still fixable.
Not that realistic one that looked like you were calling in an airstrike.
It was about this tall.
Yeah,
9 foot tall. Yeah,
it was bigger. It was bigger than the one Jim's going to share later, which is
It's not all about size, Chuck.
It was huge. It was huge.
Again, Jim being defensive.
Yes, because he never hears that. But yeah, it was pretty cool radio. I mean, for the day, I didn't know anything about ham radio at the time. So
when your antenna's bigger than your radio,
that thing was. There was no load in that thing. I don't think. I think it was almost full. I mean, it must have been some kind of a load because it was pretty much almost full size for 11.
See, it's the one I'm thinking of. It had like a super long, huge whip antenna, and it was weird because it like you put it over the antenna mount and you had to like almost tighten it with the set screw.
Yeah, it was pretty nice. It was I mean for the time it was probably pretty good. It was probably stable as hell. Had those crystals in it, no front end overload or nothing.
Right.
Doing APRS on GMRS. That's interesting. That is weird.
That's not even old.
Garmin Rhino. Is that GMRS though? Because the Garmin's FRS, isn't it? Or both? Maybe it's both.
What's the legality of doing data on GMRS? I've heard it go both ways. Like it's completely illegal and never allowed, and then like radios.
I would imagine if you ask the overlanding crowd, they don't care, and
You can send telemetry on it, I believe, if I remember correctly, because I think it falls into the lines with MERS. Because if you look at Garmin's, like, poured out, for sake of a better term, the MERS frequency for all their dog tracking collars.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Rick must know it better.
LC says data is okay if it's not automated.
That's correct. It's not you can't do a forward data service like paging, store and forward or anything like that. But I believe it is well, it's got to be because Rhino's doing it. Garmin was doing it.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. But the A and APRS is automatic.
Let me go get my Rhino. I'll be right back.
That's the definition. Oh, it's John's turn to walk.
Oh, hell, I've already walked twice before the show. I'm tired. I need a nap.
I know. You're done, huh?
I'm done.
After that level of excitement, you need a cigarette.
Yeah, well, I do, but I was like, the show's starting in like a minute. All right. Well, this is an awkward silence.
So Jim, you picked up a weird HT at Dayton, which is kind of what spurred the thought of this, because you picked up one and Dennis got an old one too. Dennis got a realistic or a Radio Shack.
He got a realistic. I wish we had Dennis here because
we should have got Dennis, and I thought of that.
Well, Dennis is probably not awake. Send him a message. I got his cell phone number. I'll text his ass.
So you've seen Dennis at a normal, level of awakenedness. Imagine him first thing in the morning.
Yeah,
we know what that's like.
Dennis is not morning people.
We do know what that is like.
And then plus he was on a different time zone. So bless his heart.
So Jim is busy using a modern.
Hey Siri, tell Dennis Mahato, come on the show, buddy. Bring your realistic.
And I'll do the needful and send him the link in the chat.
Well, she did. She ignored me.
Yeah, she's turned you off too.
Hey, buddy. We'd love to have you on the show with your super cool realistic HT if you're awake. Come on. ! TO is sending you a link.
Did that come
Don't you
up?
love it when technology doesn't work?
So
Well, usually I just tell Siri to say stuff. Sometimes she actually says what I say. Sometimes she makes up random words and,
Make sure that you always thank her for her efforts because she will one day rule the world.
Right.
So
And she
here's
will
the one
remember.
I think I had. This is the one I think I had, the TRC 214. I think it looks pretty close. There's a bunch of them that come up. So
Oh, that does
Let's see
look
if I
like,
can-
yeah.
let
I
me
would
see if
think you
can
were
embiggen
calling in
this.
an airstrike.
Yeah.
I'd probably tell
Yeah.
my fire team to
Here we go.
target. Hey, that's the radio guy. Target him.
Did that
Right.
help?
Yes. You need to scroll it down a little bit now.
How about that?
There you
right
go.
there.
There you go. There you go. Beautiful.
It was. I mean, for the day, I think it's. If that's not it, it's pretty close. I think they want probably more right now than they wanted when it was new. Although those things were kind of expensive because of and you did have to change the crystals in it if that's the same one. But
I'm trying to remember, when did crystals go out and you had fully, it was like the 70s, I think, right?
Probably.
Early
Yeah.
80s.
crystals.
We got Evan giving us so much sass in the chat. I can hear it in his voice. Like I hear this. I hear Evan in my ears when I read this. Why is Carr not doing a post Dayton stream? Because you guys are all Daytoned out by now, aren't you?
I mean,
Which
there
is-
are other YouTubers that walked around
Hey, Evan.
and did all that stuff. And Chuck has released 3 or 4 videos on it.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
didn't do
to
as
keep
much
up.
this time as last time, but
We did the
and then it
awesome
looks
live
like-
stream from Dayton.
yeah, we actually did it during Dayton, Evan.
We were
But
at
yeah,
Dayton.
there's a bunch of go watch. Dennis and I did the after.
Yep, you did. That's
after
right.
one.
Yep. Thank
Yeah,
you.
you guys-
Thank you,
And
Evan.
I was
somebody's
driving
doing
home
one
and,
Sunday, I think.
yep. And Andy
And-
Cowley has been a member for 24 months. Thank you, Mr.
Wow.
Cowley.
Yeah, he's got some
Wow,
special
Andy.
sauce. He's able to do those membership milestone super chats, twice a show, where everybody else only gets once a month.
Well, he
Thank
is
you,
the
Andy.
Andy. He is the Andy.
Correct.
So I have
Thanks,
a
Andy.
screen to share, which I'm going to set up first. And then we have the actual. All right. So this is the purchase I snagged at Dayton.
Yeah,
Here.
It looks like my CB.
There you go. Solo you for that.
This is a Yaesu
Look at
FT208R 2-meter. It does not do APRS. It does not do digital. It does
What?
VHF.
I
Then
bet,
why
I
even
bet
have
it
it?
could.
I know, shocking,
Yeah, what-
right?
Why have it?
And the other thing that's interesting about this radio, so on the top, Tio, bring me back.
Bring it back.
So there are all
Look
the
at that.
controls for
Oh
it.
yeah,
That's pretty slick.
that's
It actually is
old school,
kinda
man.
neat.
Oh yeah, this
So what's
is
this? What's
It's got
set plus,
BNC.
set minus?
that's your offset, I think.
Because it's
I'm not-
plus repeater minus repeater. I
Well,
would think
then
that
I
would be
don't-
your offset.
You
I
used
don't
to be able to do that was one of the first few handhelds that you could actually do odd offsets on, because
Jim's getting
normally
tired.
was yeah
Okay.
'cause normally it was like you could go ahead and do the 600 or whatever, or the 5, but you could do the weird offset on there by programming in the front.
So the
So
other
Jim
thing,
ended up with a unicorn from the 70s. A unicorn HT
the other thing that
that does everything.
it does, well, I'm not going to change it right now, but you see it says 7. So when I turned this thing on for the first
147.
time,
Yeah.
I was like, oh man, it does HF.
40
What?
meters?
That's
Whoa.
crazy. That's crazy pants. No, it just takes the last digit of 2 meters. So 652 would get you call and whatever. And then it's got, you can save memories and recall memories and all that kind of stuff. There is no USB-C cable on this radio. I was a little sad about that from 1981,
Yeah.
but it's,
So that's
it
about
works
the
great.
size of that's about the size of that realistic. It was
Yeah, yeah.
It reminded me of it.
Yeah.
That had a BNC on top too, right?
Yes,
Which
that's
is
what
and it looks
the
like it
antenna
came that
connector
way.
is.
I guess that's before the government got involved and told us that we can't have detachable, easily upgradable antennas.
So this
Oh,
is
look at that brick.
this is what I got
There's
I
Jim
got the
already
base.
selling it.
I got it,
Right?
it makes me feel like I'm back in the fire department having this thing set up on my desk because
Mhm.
I have this big charger, and I got all this for $30.
Yeah.
That one says 7 also.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, LCDs were expensive.
Yeah, the guy that was selling it was the original owner. I have the case. I have the case candy. I have the certified Yaesu warranty card. I
You have
mean,
the dead battery
Oh, yours is in better
I have-
shape too.
I have one dead battery and one functional battery, and I can
For
buy
now.
these online.
for now.
So, yeah, but I don't anticipate me carrying this. This is not going to be my EDC, I don't think. But
Well, and that battery lasted pretty much all day.
it did. I had it on. I had
at
it
the-
on Saturday.
at 8.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep.
In the
Yep.
day, I looked at it and it's like, wow, the screen's still on.
Yeah.
So in
None of
the
that
chat, we
screen
got,
going off stuff either.
We got James KI5OEB. I just had that up there, and he's saying that this was his first radio, the
Ooh.
IC2 GAT. That's pretty slick. You have no idea what frequency you're on, so you punch stuff in. Maybe there's a display on top.
So if we could release that as a box of
know.
parts or something and drum up. Oh, I'm sorry. Never mind. That was
Different
my outside
story.
voice.
Different story. Different story.
And then we had Taylor come in. Taylor says he got a weird radio off of a not so nice person. So thank you very much for being a member, Taylor.
Taylor, we need more info. Like what kind of radio? I mean,
Yeah.
Southeast Asia. I'm working that out
TC
in my,
Fitz is
in my
here
head.
today.
Okay.
Yeah. 503 Nick, you got to go subscribe to my channel, Temporarily Offline Ham Radio, for information on the X6200.
Are you the only
It's
guy that
interesting.
actually has one in hand?
I think I am, yeah.
I bet
I
he
saw
is.
other guys throwing stuff up, but they didn't have anything. It's like
Yeah. It's fun so far.
teasers. It looks
That's
like
what
a
they
cool
all
little
are.
radio. If they,
There's a
Ooh, 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 ooh.
dual
Sounds on the wrong
antennas.
screen.
There's a
That's
Rhino.
twice the
That's-
fun.
This is my search and rescue GPS combo thing. So it's a Rhino 655T. It's pretty cool because it does. My battery, of course, is dead. Right. What
course it is.
what emergency SAR response personnel would not have a charged battery? But then this one is the GPS antenna. This one is actually the GMRS FRS antenna on there. Actually has a little camera. You can actually take pictures with it also too.
And you can send it, can't you? Can't you send
Yeah,
it?
you
also?
can. Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the
Forgot
weird
about that.
HT. And when these came out, they were really weird. I was like looking at them like, what is this and stuff? And doesn't meet the new FRS kind of laws. So it's got restricted to the
Wrong
half
button.
watt kind of combo thing on there. But hey, man, it
Not
works.
me.
No,
That was
me.
The restricted
like-
half watt. LC loves
From a-
those things.
From a
He talks
design
about 'em all the time.
perspective, you would think. Oh, it does have a display on top. You would think that they would make the antennas match for aesthetic reasons. Like they don't need to make them electrically match. Don't get me wrong. Like I'm a ham. I know how this works, but make them
What?
visibly match.
No, but that's the cool part. He's like, I got two antennas. You don't know what it is. I'm the government.
That's right.
Well, it looks like maybe a space taser or something too, John.
Well, this is the special government version. We're not supposed to talk about this.
Right. Or a
Right.
sex toy off of Temu. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Hey,
Let's talk about that So this is that 2GAT from ICOM, and it does actually have a display. And ICOM could
okay.
spring for the extra digits. They had to make them a little smaller. So this is 145.715.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
Yeah. So radiomuseum.org. Nice website.
Has like one extra digit, huh?
Yeah,
Super
I think
small
I'll-
screen.
yeah.
Now you
I
can't see
wasn't going
that
to say
thing.
it. I took responsibility because, I don't want the NSA after me.
Mhm.
KD, what
It
does
did
Jim
take
do with
him out.
HTs if he never goes outdoors?
Yep. Whatever.
He hooks them. He hooks if they're digital. He hooks them to his little computer setup. Talks
Jeff,
all
member
over
for
the world.
14 months. Thank you, Jeff. You've been a learning experience.
Thanks,
my
Jeff.
friends. Jeff, it's good
Thanks,
to have
Jeff.
you on board. Much
Did we hit
appreciated.
TC Fits? Did I
Not
miss
yet. I'm
that or
still
what?
scrolling. I'm still scrolling.
Oh, okay.
TC
Never
Fitz,
mind.
thank you for the $20 super chat. If my colleagues were too busy giving me crap to
Yeah, thanks,
highlight this,
TC.
we appreciate it,
TC's
man.
a good guy.
TC's a regular, yeah.
Can I make an interesting point though?
What's
You
that?
can.
The ICOM, pull up the Kenwood TH45, and all you movie buffs, I want to see if you guys remember which this radio is from. Okay, but if you pull up the Kenwood TH45, it was a weird thing how it worked way back in the day. And let's see if
Well,
we can get
nowadays, if it's in a movie, it's a Bofang
Well, yeah, because
or
it's
or
a cheap movie
CB.
pop and they don't
And
care.
have you ever noticed on CB they can talk like miles?
And clear, like it's FM.
Yeah,
Yes.
like I'm talking 3 states away on my,
There it is.
To get it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
look
if
at
you
that.
take a look at the front of it, it's the same design as the Icom was. But I see already someone put it in the chat there. This one was used in Die Hard.
I
I
knew.
was going to
They
say,
said
Yeah,
it was a
I
CD.
knew when you said movie.
Yeah.
That
And
actually
by the
was.
way, Die Hard is a Christmas movie.
Oh,
It
totally.
is.
Oh, totally.
Christmas
Christmas
carols
movie, yeah.
happened during
Yeah.
Christmas, came out during Christmas.
It was
That's
snowing.
right.
If you
What
could,
more do they need?
Have you been to LA, man? What?
Yeah.
It was snowing in my house when it came out.
Nakatomi
Okay,
Plaza.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. If we can go ahead
It
and
snows
have,
in LA
well,
once every 100
that's a
years.
different. Oh, I thought you were talking about the other kind of. Never mind.
No.
Anyways,
It does that all every day.
It does that all year round. No, if you can
Different
go
kind.
ahead and have a movie about a lady who lost her job and moved to some Vermont town and goes ahead and falls in love with the vet
Yeah.
on Hallmark, that's a Christmas
Nobody
movie.
wants-
So's Die Hard.
Well, that would have to be a Hallmark.
That's like
Yeah.
every
Because-
Hallmark movie.
Because who really
They
wants to
tell
go
you
there?
the plot of all those
In the
movies.
winter.
Yep.
And she sells
Yeah.
custom jelly in Vermont. And
Exactly.
Did we send
lives
Dennis
in a
a link?
$300,000 house.
I did.
T.O. did.
He probably has his car unpacked already. Probably has. it
Dennis is
sitting
just
on his
waking up. He
desk.
hasn't checked his phone yet. Wake
Liberty
up.
Cave
Coffee,
said Die
coffee
Hard
and
is
ham
not a
radios.
Christmas movie. I think Liberty Cave needs to be banned.
He's going to be put in the timeout.
Liberty.
Yeah.
Liberty. Oh, what is that one?
John's got
So
the
this
chocolate
is
phone.
the Puxy Award one. It's the
that gold?
gold-plated Puxy PX777. That's right. The paint is more than the handheld itself, but that's the one that we've kind of handed around because we were talking about Christmas, so I thought it'd be a good one. I hand this around to my friends each year to go ahead and it's like there's only one, and it's sort of like Christmas cake, the fruit cake that hands around. We hand it around 1 to 1 to 1. So there you go.
TK, yes. I don't watch Chicago Fire, but
Good show.
oh, John.
Well, the CHP used to run CB. I don't know if they still do, but they had
can't
CBs in there.
I can't remember what it was.
California.
There was something I was watching the other day. They had a Retevis, and I don't know what model it was, but the character was holding the radio up, and it was clearly a Retevis HT. I don't know.
Yeah.
CB, GMRS, FRS, whatever. Usually it is a Fang, though, of some sort.
But at least Hollywood is getting a little bit better with the handhelds. They are. You got to admit that.
Things?
No, no, actually better. Because going back to Die Hard 2, they had the same radio in there this time, but it had an encryption pad in there, which is not even 100% possible. But, hey.
Hang on, let me hack the code on the keypad and decrypt their transmissions.
You really look at that stuff, don't you, John?
Oh, yeah,
He's
but
like-
there's
He's
two
got on the
things.
computer looking them up when he sees
Well,
it.
those two things in the house. My wife, who's in the medical field also too, is we got to be careful on what show she watches because if it's not truly a medical, she gets pissed. And then if I'm watching a show and it's radios, then I go ahead and I get pissed.
I get pissed about the fire
Right.
stuff, which is why I don't watch Chicago Fire, and the medical stuff. It's like flatline, shock him. Okay, you just get his watch and wallet at that point. You don't need to shock him. He's already dead.
What? You don't?
Yeah, right.
Oh, this just blows my mind.
We only shock them when they're breathing and their heart is pumping normally.
Well, no, you're doing a reset, and you can't reset it when it's. Never mind. I'm gonna.
But they have to
rant.
shock them. They have to shock them in order to have them come back at the end of the season finale and then
Right.
sue the fire department.
And do you let them sit on the back of the bus and pat their head with a 4x4 all the time? I'm like, no. If you're fine enough that you could sit on the bumper of my truck, get your ass the hell out of the way. We got real people to deal with. Every movie they have an ambulance in, they got them sitting on the bumper. Sorry,
Wow.
That's the way though. That's
Wow,
the
why
way.
did you kick T.O. out?
I didn't kick T.O. T.O. kicked himself. While T.O. is gone. Oh no, he's back.
Teal
My
left.
camera just
He couldn't
decided
handle
it
the
wasn't
calls.
happy. Just
I
trying to get
have-
the
Not
camera.
happy.
I have this little fella, which it probably should be charged, I think.
We do this
Yep.
one.
Now you're
There it
there.
is. There it is.
Mm.
This
I don't
is
know if
the Pico APRS.
Wrong one.
Is Chuck touching buttons again?
Yeah, it's not
I
me.
do. Here, let's do that one. Oh, wrong
Oh
guy
my
again.
God.
Oh.
It's like playing cards with my brother's kids. Anyway,
It
this
is.
is
That is cool.
This is an APRS unit, TNC, Bluetooth, Wi-Fi. It does every APRS function you can think of. But the other thing is, it is a 2-meter HT. a half watt or 1 watt HT. Now it sounds like you're gargling through tinfoil underwater on the audio, but it does the HT thing. Now I've got it set up for APRS because I was using it when I drove to Dayton and back. But
Yeah, we
Pretty
followed
swank.
you on the plane.
You know,
Pretty
but it brings up a funny thing. You know, that whole concept of retro. Jim brings up a point. Remember back like in the late 90s when everybody was releasing small, tiny little handhelds like that did like a half watt or maybe a watt, and it was such the greatest craze. And I know we came out with the Yaesu. Linko came out with the credit card size handheld. If anybody remembers that one, it was a really cool one. It like literally was like the height and size and thickness of like a couple of credit cards. But it's so funny because now I hear so many people that are saying, man, only if there was like low power handhelds and this kind of thing like that, and tiny ones that you could put in your pocket. And like, dude, you're like too little, too late. You're like,
Yeah.
nope, done. Yeah, we did
Right.
that in the
Usually,
90s.
usually they want to go the other way. I want more power, 10
Yeah,
watts.
the Alinco credit card radios and stuff too. Yep.
Yeah,
what was
those
the ones that were on? I guess it was probably on AliExpress, the 80 watt HTs a year or two ago.
Oh,
I
they
know,
were
right?
a flavor of Baofeng that I don't
Yeah,
even
some
think Baofeng claimed.
UV5R.
Yeah,
Sure.
some UV5R variant. And it was like stupid power, 50 watt, 100 watt HT, whatever. And I'm like, okay, I can't imagine keying that in my hand and having it near my face. No.
And they spelled power wrong. PWER.
Yeah.
More
But-
P were.
Was that the one that got you 2,500 miles? I believe
Yep.
I believe that
Facebook
might be
ad
it.
had.
Yeah.
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 Oh, my
Whoa.
Lord. He's actually here.
No, it's just Dennis.
What's up, buddy?
Nothing.
Hey,
more.
how's it going?
And he's awake. Look at that. And his hair's combed. He looks better now than he did waking up at Dayton.
Oh, give me a break.
He said, give me a break, Jim. Did you see
I
that?
saw that. I saw that.
That's just a reflex at this point.
How you guys doing?
Good. So,
Good.
Dennis, we're talking about weird HTs, and you got a weird HT at Dayton.
Yes, I do. It's right behind me here. It's not weird. It's awesome. It's my
That's
It's
Solo.
awesome. A realistic.
HTX202
Oh, wow.
Radio Shack.
from Radio Shack, and it has the original.
Wow,
just
it
the
works.
squelches. The squelch is really weak on this thing, so I gotta turn it down a lot. But it is my original HT that I got in 1999, and I've been looking at it at flea markets ever since. Every time I'd find one, like the LCD would be broken or something would just be off about it. And this one, kind of bought it without testing it at all because the vendor
Just tired of
just
looking.
offered me, they said it was marked for $50. And he said, I'll sell it to you for 25. I was like, does it work? And he's like, I don't really know. But I said, okay, we'll give it a try. We'll see. It's $25 bet. And went over to Batteries America, the vendor, at Hamvention. And I said, do you have anything for this? Because
And they laughed at you.
And
No.
she looked at it and she said, yes, we got something for that. And she knew immediately what it was.
That's crazy.
quite
I know it's
amazed.
amazing how they just know.
Yeah,
too.
you thought she would tell you to move along. Move along, son.
along,
There's
son.
nothing here. That's
This
right.
is the new game. If you go to a Hamvention and Hamfest and there is Batteries Plus there, bring them something weird and see if they can figure out whether they
Oh,
have it
yeah.
or not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is
So-
actually a double A. Let me see if I can get it off here. Double A holder. It holds 8 double A rechargeables
Sweet.
in it.
Okay.
So I can't like plug it in to charge it because I think
So
it's
that's
originally meant
part of the
for-
original radio. That's not the battery she had or what?
No, this is the battery she had.
Okay. The double
The
A.
original battery is somewhere around here, but it's this dead a nickel cadmium
NiCad, yeah.
Yeah.
pack.
So Radio Shack was kind of cool because back in the day, 70s, 80s, there wasn't like the internet just to buy radios and stuff on. And everybody had a Radio Shack near them, right? I mean, there wasn't an HRO down the street, stuff like that. So they sold a lot of stuff like that. And John would probably know more about this, but a lot of it's like rebranded, right?
Yeah, because I was just going to say that is actually a ICOM rebranded handheld.
Yeah.
I
That,
forgot what
that
model.
Radio
they're-
Shack one? The one
Yep.
Dennis has?
Yeah, because Radio Shack was pretty smart if you really think about it.
Back in
They
the
used
day.
to all their back in the day, all their scanners were rebranded Unidens, and I forgot which model it was, but that Radio Shack one was a rebranded ICOM one on there. That ICOM made it for them. It was quite interesting.
It was probably just a little cheaper, right? A little cheaper from Radio Shack
it
too.
Usually
probably
was. It usually was. Radio Shack was smart because they came out. Is that the V or U one you got there?
V.
The V one, yeah, because they had a V, they had a U, and then didn't they had mobiles for a short time too, if I remember correctly, and they had like a 6 meter and a 10 meter also. I think it was.
I wish I saw those. That would have been cool.
Doc Brad has a nice comment there.
Doc.
So now everybody will be looking for these things.
So that's actually a good question for John here. The technology in radios, direct conversion, superhet, what other kinds are there?
Well, back in the day, you had what was the I'm trying to now you're pulling my way back. There was double conversion on there. There was been down conversion. There's been up conversion. Trying to think. You got me all. Hang on, I got my list here somewhere. Hang on.
Off guard.
Doc, thank you for the $5 super chat. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks, Doc. So that was like the 3000 and the 1200. I think the 3000 is down conversion, and the 1200 was up conversion, but they're virtually the same radios, minus parts, minus extras, right?
Yeah, correct. And that happened on a lot of there because there's always been this big debate on if you go ahead and depending on what receiver type of technology you use, how are you injecting the low on there for local oscillation? Because that's always been the biggest thing. If you ever take a look at the amateur stuff, when we started to really kind of, how do you want to say, like, take a look at it, if you didn't get the low injection or local oscillation point done correctly, you'll have many, many problems. As a matter of fact, Jim, you'll probably relate to this. The Mycore repeaters, they were rock solid on there. But then if you got them in a high noise environment, you'd have so much mixing on the yellow injection on there. It would be horrible on there.
Unusable. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, totally. So it's always come out to that kind of thing on there. And with the cheaper Chinese, I'll say this in that way. I know people have Baofangs and we all have our loves or hates for them. But they're going to go ahead and use cheaper injection types and receivers than you are going to go ahead and have receive the different ones on there. I can tell you this, since we're talking about handhelds, I talked to someone, I saw a handheld. For the most part, it's a quasi SD. Well, we want to say it's a full SDR, but it's using some software technology, on an Android platform, which is going to go ahead and be, I think, pretty interesting coming out.
Yeah, I was going to ask you if there's any SDR based handhelds out.
Yeah,
everything else pretty much is.
There you go. Yeah, well, oh no, wait, that's not the right one. I just saw pop up. But was it Harris? Yeah, I think Harris makes an SDR handheld that the government uses.
This one has the tactical, I guess for the airsoft crowd or something. But 128 channels, 10 watts. This is some points in here that the signal waves can penetrate wood, steel, and concrete.
Wow.
And
so 70.
No, it says it's only 10. I haven't found the 100 watt one yet. Allows you to charge anytime. The wall Traeger is standard.
Traeger.
Yep. Traeger. And here, this one is precious. Program your AR blah, blah, blah with special firmware from Radio Shared. And program and it's whatever. But yeah. I just thought this was interesting because it's, a giant green Baofeng.
They may actually be
it's a pretty stout battery, though.
In cahoots with one of the YouTubers that I can think of that would write just like that, but I'm not going to say who it was. But that's pretty much how his 90s, writing comes out.
I would
not
say
me.
That dual banders would have been amazing.
Right.
Oh yeah.
My Radio Shack here, HTX 202, it's a 2 meter, and that's all I knew was 2 meter repeaters all around the Bay Area where I lived at the time. And so that's why I got that one. But I mean, if you wanted to do UHF, then yeah, like John was saying, you had to get the U model. You couldn't just have an all-in-one radio. And then the 857 comes out about a decade later, and I'm just like, whoa, the thing is everything.
Right.
It still is.
Yeah.
It's funny though, and I do have to say this, and I have no idea, and I thought I would have known, but it's a funny how you talk about dual band HTs, pretty much just about, I'm not going to say every, but just about every handheld that kind of came out in the late 80s, or excuse me, late 90s ish, mid to late 90s, you were hard pressed to find one that was not actually two separate receivers. Like, you think about like the 470, for an example. I'll give you this because I'm more versed, obviously, in that. But the 470, the 530, excuse me, those are all two separate receivers. I'm trying to think, was the TH78A that by Kenwood, was that a dual receiver? Yes, it was, because it had crossband.
Yeah.
It was crossband. Yep. So it was great. I mean, I
have that.
The 78.
Yeah.
Yes, I mean, I'm looking for a 530, and someone pointed a 530 out to me at, was it Hamvention last year or the year before or something, or Hamcation, one of the two, and I couldn't get out to the flea market in time to buy it. But man, that was a heyday, man. I'll tell you, that was a heyday.
Yeah, the 78. I've got one. It's out in the shop in the land of forgotten toys, and I'm not walking back out there to get it. But the 78 is pretty cool because it's got like a slide down cover, like a cell phone kind of thing, and then a full keypad. The problem I had with the 78 is you can't read the dang buttons very well because everything is so small on it. Mm-hmm. It works great.
That's the one right there, Jim? Or
no, that's a Yaesu,
John?
buddy.
Yeah, that's the five.
John's
that's the
talking about.
Yeah. Yep. Because it was funny too, was when you saw this was, if you actually take a look at the history of how we've been doing it in amateur radio, this kind of the late 90s is when we woke up to DCS on handhelds. And when you started to see this DCS usage, it was like, whoa, what is this? And then people are like, oh, well, you can do this and this with it. And, people, if they didn't have DCS in their radios, you couldn't, you can't get into repeater because you need DCS. And I really got to say, I loved the late 90s with handhelds. That's totally what it is.
I like the display on that Yaesu. That looks pretty good. The way you guys did the display on that was pretty cool.
Now, if you pull up the 78A, I thought that, because I originally, this is my first handheld. I kind of showed earlier, it was the FT416. There was two of them. There was the 416 and there was the 446, I think it was. One was UHF, one was VHF, but same thing. It said PO5 on it because that meant power output 5, because a lot of handhelds weren't doing the full 5 watts out. But it was, I don't know, I just think it was kind of cool how we were doing it, but you could do deep with those kind of things. And I don't know, it was just amazing. But the next one I had was the Kenwood TH28A, because I tried finding one when I saw Die Hard. That was the handheld I wanted. I wanted the handheld from Die Hard. That's what it was.
Right.
So you mentioned DCS.
Mm-hmm.
I admit, all the years I've been a ham, I don't know how it actually works. I know how PL works because it's a tone that's underlying the signal, but what happens with DCS exactly? Do you know?
Easiest way I tell people, square wave instead of sine wave. That's really what it is. It's just, if we look at PL or CTCSS tone on a monitor, it's just a nice, slow, sloping kind of wave. Where if you actually look at DCS on the monitor, it's actually a complete square wave form, and it's how many bits is it? It's based off of 42-bit, I think it is, a 42-bit algorithm on there. So it's going to give you actually more of a less falsing, because sometimes if you have CTCSS, if it sees a similar wave in the audio pattern underlying, sometimes you get that CTCSS falsing. Anybody that lives in metro city or metro areas, you've experienced CTCSS falsing. And then it's just a nice square wave. But the interesting thing about DCS or DPL, if you're a commercial, kind of guy like me, the biggest thing about that is that you don't get the falsing on it, but you can have the reverse of it. So they do regular versus inverted. And that basically is the way that the waveform is looked at by the radio on there. And really, Motorola came out with it. If you look at it, they kind of did the pioneering of DPL on there, or DCS, because they were trying to find a way for not to be secure, but to be more so of saying,
privacy code.
Yeah, they called it privacy code, which that's what PL stands for. PL privacy. What is it again? Privacy
link. I don't know.
I forgot what
Privacy lockout.
yeah, something like that. And they always called it like, no, it's not really privacy because people thought it'd be encrypted. It was just more saying like you couldn't get access to the repeater on there. But it works really well. I am my simplex stuff that I run, I always run DPL. And the reason being is that, like I said, it's less falsing. I can drive by,
private
parties.
line.
So yeah, private line. Thank you very much. Thanks, Ham. Yeah, it's private line. And it's not, like I said, it's a DPL stands for digital private line. And it's not really digital. It's just that it's a square wave form instead of a sine wave.
This is the other one you were talking about right here. Yeah,
Yep.
this is let me find the right
slide
tab
up
now.
button cover.
Yeah,
I like the backlit green.
yeah, and it's dual VFO, and this is what I'm talking about. The button layout on this thing is a little odd to. Let me see if I can embiggen this. There we go. That's better. But yeah, it has this slide up cover to keep dust and gook stuff out of the thing. It works great. It's just a pain in the ass to program. It's all
Except for
front
that little
panel.
antenna.
There is no CPS for this thing. No one makes one. There's no way to program CPS. And like the model after this, I think the D7
79.
79.
Yep.
You could program from a computer, but this one, no, not so much.
No, but Jim, really, you got to admit, you had 40 memory channels.
Oh yeah.
If you used
Looks like it's
frequency,
bent.
but if you did alphanumeric, it went down to 20.
Oh, because it's using the same memory.
It was using the same memory bits, and that used to happen a lot with a lot of radios in the 90s, though. Which handhelds, it was funny because that's what they used to do. They used to basically just in their programming mask the memory bit. So, like for the most part, it was like, okay, memory channel 1 is your frequency, but then memory channel 21 would be masked if you put the name in there. So, yeah, I mean, everybody that's got like 897 memories in their radios. Yeah, back in the day, man, we had 20 and we liked it.
Right.
And you got by with it. It didn't hurt.
Yeah,
Nobody will ever
Right.
need more than 20 memories.
I
in their
got
radio.
to look up how much this Radio Shack has. How many memories? I can't remember.
But it has this does a bunch of
6.
functions. I can't remember half the crap it does, but anyway.
It's got the K connector on top. It's APRS ready.
Yeah. DPRS probably, right?
Right.
BNC.
Yeah, I think so.
But
I think so.
if you think too, like, and I had a laugh at Kenwood's because they had the DTSS and it said it on there. So that was the other gimmick about the handhelds and how they always used to do these kind of things. It wasn't about features of handhelds. It was all about, it's like, okay, this has got the screen here and this and this. It was more so along the lines of like, what can this handheld do to there? And Kenwood had this thing called DTSS, where basically and here's the best way to describe it. Everybody that had an alphanumeric pager, or excuse me, a numeric pager, okay? You couldn't put any words on it, right? It was numeric. But people would go ahead and you would do that whole code thing. So
Yeah.
like I needed to go ahead and I got to look it up on my phone here. But like, let's say if I wanted to say hi, I would go 4-2, because then that would be keypad number 4, the second letter on there, which would be the H, and then it would be 4-3. So it'd be 4-2-4-3. So what that would mean is okay, button 4, the second digit or the letter on there was H, 4, and then 3, that would be HI. Well, Kenwood had this kind of thing where it would do that same thing. You would enter the message and you would send it, and all you'd hear over the radio would be, and then the message would come across the screen.
That's an elaborate code. I think my wife and I, we just had like 911 means find me immediately, obviously. And then 001 was, do I need to bring crap home for dinner? 002 was no food is here. I don't know.
Jim's an early adopter. Yeah.
We had a
you're
code.
so
I don't
cutting
remember what
edge.
it is. I mean, Jesus, that was 25, 30 years ago. I
And
was
what
used
happened
to
to you?
digital pager.
Jim's
Then I got a
people
cell phone like a grown up.
Our buddy Brian
Hendricks.
gifted 5
Yeah.
Coffee and Ham Radio memberships. Jim, who'd they go to?
Nice.
North 49 Radio, David Kilo Delta 9 Whiskey Tango Alpha, Kathy, aka Crazy Knitting Nana, Greg Euler W3PAK, and Echo 2 Papa 2. got memberships.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Brian. And y'all throw Brian a thank you because he just hooked you up with the inside scoop and the private chat room.
Right.
Cool, Brian.
He did.
Jeff, that might have been one wife back. That's right. Exactly.
Right.
Or two.
That's the problem. You forgot the code, so you didn't answer that day. That's
Right.
the problem.
It's all downhill since then. Dang 90s ruined so many marriages.
Even after we were separated, she's texting me with codes, and I'm like, I'm busy. You know, I just didn't even answer. I'm like,
ain't your code monkey no more?
Yeah, that's right. Well, one time she called me. I was like, not where she. Never mind. We'll just not tell that story. But
So
Yeah, let's do that one.
Evan answered my question. I have 12 memories on this HTX 202.
12.
Yes.
And you like it.
I love
You
it.
just freaking deal with it, Dennis. That's what a real ham does. Your
That's
12
Two more
right.
memories. That's two more
I've
memories in the
actually-
competition.
I used about maybe 7 actual repeaters
Right.
in my life. So, I mean, yeah, that would be perfect.
Well, it's like with the DMR radios, all the DMR radios, the newer ones, like we love the 6X2, right? I got one, Ape has one, Steve sold out. Chuck can't spell DMR, but
I don't know how to do it.
I don't want to do it. It's not ham radio.
It's tough.
The
It's not-
original
it's not
6X2
real
was
radio,
like
man.
150,000 memories, and I think the new one's like 300,000 or something. And it's like I don't care about nearly that many people anyway. Not even. It's like 3, 4 maybe.
All right.
Yeah, I
I
just
wrote
got the
down 2
5D.
radios I'm going to look for.
All right.
I just got the 5D, and of course, how many is that, John? That's like 900.
Yeah, it's like a 900 or 1,000.
man.
It's ridiculous. And I could see this day and age because I understand we've become like more aware because once again, you know, looking at the 90s, like all that kind of stuff, you didn't really have radios that can go out of band and stuff like that. And let's face it, so many people mod their radios now. They're using it, and you need those like billion memory channels on there and everything. But you know, these radios can do so much now. It's not even funny, right? They're receivers now, and I mean, look at the Kenwood, for example, and their D75. You know, so many people, like, there's so many memories. I talked to a friend of mine who has one. He's like, yeah, but I can program all my shortwave stuff into there. I can do all this kind of stuff. It's a receiver. It's all these kind of things now.
This is the one Evan Barsnack was talking about here.
Nice.
Dennis, is this an upgrade from yours? This looks smaller
That's the
than
same
yours.
exact one.
Oh, is it? Okay.
And the only thing I'm missing from mine, I had the original manual. Everything was original, including the antenna, the stock antenna, but I don't have that speaker mic, which would have been nice. I remember having that on the original one.
Well,
$32.99. Buy it now.
And the parts are not working, so
That costs more than my working one.
right. Costs more than my Yaesu.
But I think I could use any Kenwood style connector hand mic. I'll give that a try.
I guess there's two sizes on those kind of connectors, right? A
There's an
K1
A
and a
connector?
K2. Huh?
I thought there was an A connector or something.
Well, I don't know what they call it. I've seen 2 different sizes because I've got some out in the shop where the spread on the 2 pins is slightly different.
So Kenwood has been the common, the K connector is what they call it. That was the one that I don't know, put it this way, got duplicated heavily in China on there. They have the M style, which, believe it or not, is adapted. So this is my other cool little easy DMR radio. But if you take a look, I don't know if I can really kind of show it in there. That's a narrower spacing because that's the M style.
That's the M style.
Yep. So that's going to be like your GP 300s, some of your the Motorola some of the what do you want to say? The other Motorola business type radios. But then like on the Goldie, I got to break the seal on the Goldie here, but I'll do it here. So that is the.
Once you break the seal.
Yeah, you can't. I don't know if I can get it here with the exact light, but you can kind of see. Oh, let me try to adjust it in the light.
Well, you can see the gold one. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, they're like different. Let me try to must it. You kind of see that this one on this side is a little bit narrower spacing.
Yep.
On there, and I'll be honest with you, I don't remember if ICOM had their own spacing or if they just duplicated the K connector. But for the most part, that's what you're going to see on like the Anytones, the stuff that isn't the weird Well, here, let me the weird kind of per se proprietary stuff on there. But most of the handhelds, and I'll show this one. This is my other one. This is my other Sun heavy duty one that I have here for DMR.
It's like a Motorola GP something.
It almost looks like it, yeah. But this is the multi connector for Motorola style.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So yeah,
Screw
so
in.
and they've all been just duplicated, big time on there.
Quirky James said he had this bad boy
Nice.
back in the day. This is the ICOM 24ET, IC24ET. That looks kind of like the Kenwood almost, or similar. And then the giant battery pack.
I kind of feel like they should just commit to that again and make these tiny radios, but then add a gigantic brick to the
Giant battery.
Brick.
Well,
That
you
would
know, it's
last for
interesting
like
you say that, Dennis, because
you
what
know,
I was thinking when you started saying that was, and I don't get me wrong, the man's on the show. I love my FT5D, and Dennis just bought one, and
You know,
he
that's
loves
right.
it too. It's a great radio.
It's a
But
great-
holy crap, would it be cool if we had a full-size grown man radio that could do all the stuff of a 5D with a screen that might be a little bigger?
Look at that. That's what you got to carry. You got to carry a brick handheld.
Well, I mean,
You could hurt
I
somebody with that.
we had Kenwood TK3380s in the fire department on the UHF side, and then for the P25 stuff, I had a Harris IP 7100, which is
you got to be.
I can
you gotta
defend
be able
myself.
to
with
defend
it.
yourself. Yeah.
It would stop a bullet.
That's right.
Yeah, exactly. Well, come on, NYPD. If you ever watched the TV show NYPD Blue, how many times did you see him take the old Motorola Saber and just bam, 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 bang on the door with it?
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I personally, I see. There's so many people that I saw actually this at Hamvention, Dayton, Xenia, whatever we're calling it this week, that went around and they're tearing that because of that full aspect of things. They like their little handhelds, you know, that can do whatever. But people are, you know, once again, the HTs here. This is kind of some of the future that's going on here with some of these. Like this is a multi-band, multi-protocol radio. And I think that's the next biggest thing we're going to see in handhelds. You know, now this one here is, yes, it's a commercial one, but it is like VHF, UHF, and granted 700, 800, we don't have 700, 800, but it's because it's a public safety radio though. But it does like P25, it does DMR, it does, you know, all those kind of things. And I think that's when we're going to have the return to these larger handhelds, is when we start going multi-protocol, because it's like 3-4 radios in one.
Well, this is near and dear to TO's heart and mine too, is user interface stuff. And with all the functionality, and I'm not crapping on Yaesu here, all right? I love my 5D, long time, boom, boom, number one. But it's like, it does a lot of stuff, and honestly, it's better than a lot of other premium top-of-the-line HTs from other vendors.
Oh yeah.
Because of the interface on it. But man, it would be so much better if it was a full-size public safety size radio or something where you could spread that out, have a little more room on the keys, see a little better, maybe a bigger screen. I don't know. I don't have a problem with the 5D screen, but I don't know.
But it is everybody wants that. That's the weird thing that we're moving to. Like I said, we were big, and then we were going small, and then we kind of went big again, and now we're kind of going small again. But now it's a revolution that keeps going on there.
This is Lou said he had this one back in the day,
that is
or thinks he still has it.
Dude, analog metering.
I love those meters when you see those little.
Look
needles.
at that.
It's awesome.
And you know, in a lot of ways, this gives you a better idea of how good your battery is, right? As opposed to one red light or two red lights kind of deal.
10 memory
DCS.
channels.
10. Dennis, you are pimping something even better than a Kenwood.
See, 2 better than the competition.
Nice.
Right?
Radio
What
Shack
is,
beats Kenwood.
What year was this created?
Oh, I don't know if they list that here. Oh, there we go. 84 to
84. Interesting.
84.
Wow.
Okay.
So this came after my 208. Because the 208 was 81.
You need that and your mag light with 12 D cells.
Right. Right. And an extra wide belt to hold all this crap.
those
Wait, all
mag lights were something else. Those were weapons in themselves.
Right. Exactly.
That's why all retired public safety now have back issues, because we had to carry one of those huge
Carry
bricks and the mag light on the other side and a nightstick. No, but you're gonna, it's gonna be interesting because you're gonna go ahead and you're gonna see stuff like move like this, for an example, 100% Bluetooth programmable, or you can program it later, but you can do it from your Android cell phone now.
Yeah.
It's a Creasun is what that looks like.
Kirsten.
Isn't that what my kids drink?
No,
Kirsten?
that's Capri. No, I will tell you.
Okay.
I well, hey, have a Capri Sun while you work on your Kirsten. But I mean, it's the technology's going, as you see. I mean, simple, basic, but it's starting to get bigger again. And I think you're gonna see that. I think you're gonna see that now.
Yeah, I just got a solar charge controller, and everything I do to it is through Bluetooth or the phone.
Right.
It's kind of an easier way to do things.
It is.
Well, they don't have to embed a computer inside of as big of a computer inside of the solar charge controller. They can just keep updating the app to fix stuff. It's like
every time I open that
Coca-Cola
up, it's updated.
Yeah, it's like Coca-Cola is the biggest distributor because they move Coca-Cola products, so they actually also do a lot of logistics for other companies.
This is a TK 3380. Well, that's a 380. That's not the right
380.
one. It's missing a 3. Here we go. Maybe. Well, never mind. This is similar. This looks pretty close to the 3380. I don't know the differences between them, but this is pretty close to what we were carrying. The UHF radios we were carrying in our department, and it did not do trunking. This says it does LTR trunking, which is old school, but
that says it can't be reached.
The other one,
One you're sharing.
I don't want to share that tab. That one. Sorry, but this is pretty similar to what we're still carrying. They're still carrying in the fire department here, and these things are. I mean, they're not Motorola's, but I think it'd stop at 22 or 38. I don't know about anything bigger, but it's still a honker. And a good radio. I mean, solid radio. Because mine, I cannot tell you how many times mine slid off the back end of a truck onto the road.
Yeah, they get dropped all the time, man.
All the time. And wet.
Yeah. I think when we started using the mic, the hand mics with them, you always grab that, and the next thing you know, the radio's flying to the ground.
Oh, yeah.
They bounce back up, though, because that cord's heavy duty.
The only time I put the hand mic on was when we had a fire, because then it would clip to the turnout gear. A lot of those guys carried that all the time in their cities. I'm like, no, negative, Batman.
Well,
because it won't stand up.
Cool.
Yeah, I guess.
It's just a hit with all the ladies.
Right.
It brings in the I'm just going to leave
You walk into the firefighter and police bar. They know right away.
Right. They know you are.
There's no other way to tell when you're in that bar that you're PD or
That's right.
Right.
Yeah. So.
And Jeff said he posted something in the Discord. Let's see what.
Badge bunnies need love too.
Right.
What in the hell is this, Jeff? Holy mackerel. Let me get this. I'm getting it. Just a minute. Calm down, laddie.
Kid friendly.
Yeah, it's kid friendly.
Oh, the Bendix King KP8.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Yes.
John knew what that was. Going and going and going.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. Special designed by Bendix King for California wildland firefighting.
Yes, I know that one well,
had,
unfortunately.
20 channels on it was, I think, if I remember correctly. I think it was more than 16. But that was designed. So cool concept about Bendix King. On the side, on the mic connector, you actually had this tiny little key dongle that you could actually put into the side of the radio, and it would turn on the keypad so you can field program it. And it was a pain in the butt to field program it, but you could do it because the concept was like, oh, if you get called out to like Northern California firefighters, like there.
We all had to have them on our engine. They handed to the radio tech, and he cloned it for you.
Yep, and you found out quickly if you just took your pocket knife, opened it up, and you shorted. I believe it was the top left or the top row, second from the left, and then one of the other ones at the bottom one. You could actually do those.
Yep.
Now Bendix does a lot of aircraft radio. I didn't know they made anything like this. Of course, this is public safety radio, but Bendix is like probably every radio in every airplane in the world from 1901 on is a Bendix of some sort.
So
Yeah,
it's
all the
either
ones I
I
ever
think it was
saw.
Cal Fire or U.S. Forestry. Either one or both probably could do those for you when you went to a campaign fire.
Dave said he's done tons of those.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And Dave, it was
And-
it was like the short out with you. Did you actually have to buy the like $800 dongle or paperclip? There you go. Yeah, it
Paperclip.
was just you just shorted the 2 pins out and you're kind of doing it on your hand there, and it's like
Field
okay.
expedient. That's right.
Yep.
Field expedient.
And the only time we used them was when we went there. It's like, have no clue what's going up with this radio.
Yep.
I
Here.
think we had one per engine usually.
Yep.
'Cause they weren't cheap, I don't think.
That's
No,
what
I
we
mean, they were
expensive.
two-handed radios also.
It took 2 people to carry it, yeah.
We had we carried the TK 3380s was our everybody had a 3380, and then we got the Harrises on a grant deal, and that's a long story that I'll not tell. But so we had the IP 5400s, and one of my idiots had it on his belt and it fell off and got mowed over. Yes, and it did not survive the mowing. So it took the bullet and died. That's, and I replaced it with a 7100 off of eBay. So we had 6 of those. Only the officers had those because we just didn't have any more of them. They're expensive radios. So those
John's
are
over there
on
playing
the
Simon.
local P25, the P25 system here. So we had both, and they were cross linked because somebody, it just scrolled off. Where did it go? Martin said they're using UHF Tetra in the Netherlands.
Oh, Tetra is so fun. We're gonna, you know what? I'm gonna get my Tetra radios. We gotta have. Give me out. We gotta talk about Tetra. Oh,
Okay.
you little DMR boys. Shasha. Welcome to the world of Tetra, man. Blow your mind.
Well, I mean, is it a trunk? I've heard of it. I just don't remember what it is.
You know a DMR's 2 slot,
Yeah.
4 slot, full duplex. You could actually
Okay.
run 2 full duplex conversations on there and Tetra not used that much in the United States. It really hasn't caught on. There's a few places that are doing it, but oh my God, I love Tetra. That's my next foray in the amateur world, is going to go ahead and be playing with Tetra. Oh, it gets me excited. I got to go.
I don't know that
right back.
WPSD or Pi-Star supports Tetra though.
No, they don't.
Soon.
They don't. Not yet. Hopefully.
Tomorrow morning.
Tomorrow morning.
Yep.
Naylor,
Chip, if you're listening,
let's go.
chip chop chip.
No, it's 4 time slots on there.
25, so 25 for the whole thing, and then split into 4 6.2s.
Yep, and you can. And the best part is that and the repeaters, the mobiles operate in a well. That's another episode. It's a whole dive into it. But you basically take a mobile, and a mobile acts as your repeater. It's
Okay.
like what LTE should have been. Yep.
I wonder how much those radios are.
You get them out of the UK and stuff. They're anywhere from a couple hundred up to like 6, 7, depending on what you want.
So we're not talking P25 Harris cost.
No,
Okay.
no. And like Martin says, TMO and DMO. The TMO is more like your trunk base station, like we consider repeaters, but DMO is like your mobiles that act as a repeater, and you can easily go ahead and put a mobile up, and it will act as basically like in theory a repeater. Let's call that, but it's basically the answer to P25 in the UK. Andy, would you agree? I know I've talked. I think I've talked to you about it a few times. Would you agree that Tetra is like the P25 equivalent in the UK and stuff? I'm sure he'll pop in there and say yes or no.
He said they use it a lot.
Yeah, they use it a lot over there.
We haven't really even talked about protocols. That's a whole nother rabbit hole.
Oh yeah.
Because there's other protocols that most hams don't even fool with. You have
Oh, no.
NXDN, which is, I don't know, like 5 or 10 people in the whole world use that, I think, and P25 as far as
11.
ham size, 11. I have an ICOM 5061 sitting out in my shop that's an NXDN radio out of a bus.
QFI Shane is all excited about P25 and NXDN, and it's like I'm thinking to myself, how many people actually are on that?
No one.
You know,
That's the good part, though.
That's a good part. No, it's really underused. NextGen is great, but I don't think people fully understand what it is. And a lot of people that use P25 were converted junkies from,
Yep.
oh, hey, look at that.
Those of
not
us who
like
are
the
in the
green, that's the green case.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't like the green. But no, that's what a lot of it but Dennis, when I get out there by the office in Southern California down there, I always play on P25 because you guys in California, I will have to say, better than Chicago. I'm surprised considering who's in their backyard. But I got to say, P25, you guys got some good networks in California about that.
Oh, they're tore up with P25. Yeah.
I'd be more into it. I'm in Northern California, so it was.
And QFI Shane is down there in SoCal. Yeah, he's all about some P25. And they have a very complex system. Actually, the system in Dayton, and maybe next year we can do this. We'll do a live stream on an evening, not at the Ham Fest. But I mean, the Dayton area and Ohio has a massive interconnected P25 network.
Yep.
Because I had my scanner with me, and we were listening to some of the local PD and fire stuff there at the Airbnb. And so they're paging them out they're calling them out on one channel with whatever the call is, and then they're assigning them to a different channel for a tactical talk group. And they had names for them all. I don't even know if they're in radio reference, but that was interesting. So it's a very granular system, the way they got it set up. It's kind of cool, I thought.
I actually had a great discussion in the booth for about 30 minutes about simulcasting and all that kind of stuff like that with the analog side of things and how it's really affordable now. With God, I can't think of their company now. They used to make little nodes. Their names is there somehow. God, I can't think of it now. But they make like little interface boxes that you can actually hook to an analog repeater, hook up a GPS, and you can actually create your own simulcast system, which is really cool for analog.
Neat.
For that. Yeah. It's really cool. And you know what? Let me tell you something here about, we got in digital mode real quick, but we'll digress in a minute. T.O., are you sitting down?
I am.
I bought a Zoom spot.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Yep. I bought an actual Zoom spot. I know. There's going to be a few people that are going to be like, John, no. Yes, I'm doing it because I've been asked to do some education on things. So I am going to be doing that on there.
Nice.
And Thump, who was awake this early in the morning, and he asked this question like an hour ago, and I started, and we just never got to it because nerds.
Delicious.
Off topic. We did wake Dennis up too, so this has been a nerd fest. Off topic question for John: FT710 or FTDX10 for POTA?
Oh God, that's like left Twix or right Twix.
Right.
Whatever
Both.
your little
Dump with your money. Go ahead and get the 10.
Yeah, both.
Whatever your pocketbook affords.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
I will tell you this. I one of the things I'm God blessed on. That's how I'm going to put it on here. Is that you get to meet so many different people, and I get to travel across the world. And I'll tell you this, and T.O., you could probably agree to this too. Like living in the Midwest, our concepts of certain things are completely skewed from what the Great Plains would be to the East Coast, to the West Coast, and all those kind of things like that. And that's a great place of being able to travel across the U.S. and seeing this stuff. But I will tell you, hands down, the POTA world sometimes frightens and confuses me for what people
You too? Yeah.
but people are doing. There was people who would be like, nope, I got a long wire, and I have the guy was telling me he's got a went to Walmart, about like a 5-pound dumbbell weight, throws a wire up in the tree, and life's good. And then other people are saying, oh no, I went along and I did this one, and I carried this out to there, and it's like, oh my good God. Like
My station is 7 ounces and it's too heavy. My station is 70 pounds and it's not heavy enough. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, a Thump has a 101 if I remember correctly.
Well, take that out there then. Come on, man.
He's got the MP though.
I thought he did. He's got the MP. Yeah. Carry the MP out there. Don't be a sissy boy.
You're telling me we don't have solar power with DC to AC converters? Come on, guys.
There we go.
Right.
Yeah.
I like my 710. John talked me into a 710 earlier on, and
I hope to have.
I wasn't really replacing my 3000, so That was, and what I ended up replacing is the 991A, which I do kind of hope you guys,
You know what really
meter,
turned me
70
on the
centimeter in that
710
thing.
was when they said it has a tuner. I was like, what?
Which
Are
one?
you kidding me? And
The
so
710?
Oh, it tunes well also.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I have a 1200. I did a trade, and I haven't even really used it much, but I've got a FTDX 1200 here sitting out in the shop, not being used yet, but not as fancy as some of Chuck's stuff. But
I got another weird radio.
what you got?
This little tiny one right here.
We already covered that.
Jim's got one. We talked about it for like an eighth of a second. Yes.
Yeah. Pick that up. Oh, there you go.
Does that have a speaker mic jack on it or no?
No, it has USB-C
Bluetooth.
and Bluetooth.
Speaker
and
mic
I
would be bigger
don't
than
know
the
that
radio.
Bluetooth does audio.
No, the only reason I'm saying that is because, I mean, do you think, like, if there was a way, because it's TNC in there, right, and stuff, imagine if you could go ahead and multi-mode that.
I can imagine that, but I'm not sure where you're going with it.
Which modes are we multi-moding?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, I mean, you've put an AMB 3000 chip on there, and then you go ahead and you have Bluetooth connectivity. I mean, you could make your own little
all-in-one.
axe back down there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
D-Star hotspot.
Yeah.
It's
Why
it's
D-Star?
surprisingly capable. I'm amazed at how much they put into this.
And you got a great deal on yours too. I paid retail for mine, or close to retail.
Yeah, but he had to
with
look
this
for
little tiny antenna, I
Garth.
tried driving around doing some beaconing. Like maybe one packet will get picked up on my whole trip. So
Put a real antenna on it.
Yeah, I'm just going to use my mobile.
Does the antenna come off?
Yeah, it's a
mounted antenna.
There you go, Dennis.
Get you a brie.
That would be hilarious.
The only thing that a brie makes that's not a flaming turd, but yeah. Now, Dennis, what I was doing is I had mine in TNC mode, the Bluetooth Wi-Fi mode, and then I've got APRS.FI on my phone, and it's doing all the beaconing and the GPS and everything. I have internet in the truck, so the Pico was digipeating and iGating.
You're not doing it through RF. You're doing it through your phone.
I'm doing it through RF.
Oh, and Jim
The
put a
phone is
real
RF,
antenna on his new CB.
Yeah, Wi-Fi is RF.
There you go.
Oh boy,
it's probably
Jim
coming
put
off today.
Oh, yeah, Jim put a real antenna on his CB, and he's like, my God, I can hear all the crazy people. Even
And I don't want to hear them anymore.
Yeah, I'm kind of over CB. I really am. I'm
really
like,
close
this shit's
to
all
getting a
coming
CB.
out.
There was a
What,
lot of
Dennis?
little CB radios at the flea market. I was really close to getting one of them. I think one of them was listed for $10. It was a unit.
Dennis, I can make you a deal because I'll be selling at least
I don't want
one
that
of them.
huge thing. I don't want that gigantic thing.
Well, now this one is also I'm probably gonna keep this one, and it's actually plugged into a battery right now, so I don't know if the cord will reach. This one is the President Bill 2.
Yeah.
oh, is that the new FM one?
Yeah.
This is FM, yeah,
That's tiny.
and it's Wii. I might keep this
It
one,
is
but
small.
that striker's getting off my dashboard, and I just don't care about CB nearly that much because it's a wretched hive of scum and villainy, as near as I can tell around here.
Wow.
I almost bought a radio,
Well, I mean, it
as
is
a
Alabama,
2-meter
John.
this weekend. The
Yes.
same one that T.O. bought. The, was it the 90? FT90?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well,
My buddy
That's a
had
little mobile.
one for $100, and I went back and it's like, damn. But T.O. did give me a chance to buy the one he bought, so
I told
You
you.
know,
You get it or I'm getting it.
he
That
did
did-
give.
that data connector on the back, man. I'll tell you what. Those are worth their weight in gold now.
It has it.
Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
The
It's
90
got a-
chip, yeah.
It's got a
Right.
3.5-inch audio connector though. It doesn't have a 6-pin.
Oh, you're right. I'm sorry. The 90. I'm thinking of the 1900. I'm sorry. The 1900 was that small compact design also too. I'm thinking of the 1900.
But I think it was VHF only or something. that matters.
Yeah, that should have been dual band. God, now you're making me think, man.
You know, Jim, you're talking about scum and villainy on CB. I have the unpopular opinion about Meshtastic being much the same.
Really?
Well,
Because
it's way
just a
bigger.
chaotic mess of trolls on Meshtastic.
Dude,
Whenever
that's-
I
I
get
mean,
into
I-
a thick network.
If I
I'm
had
like,
to use
my
a
gosh.
CB to talk to a human for some reason, it's just insanity. I mean, they've all got their echo turned on. They've got
Yes.
all sorts of other crap turned on to make them sound like Darth Vader or Mickey Mouse or whatever. And I swear to God, I bet the people on CB in Wisconsin up there by John sound just like the hillbillies down here on CB.
Oh
So
no, that's Marine Band for us.
don't start with no Alabama
Yeah, I
mess
don't
because
know
I
why
think
they
it's
picked up Marine
universal
up
on
here.
CB. But
No one's on it. That's why it's so clean. Everybody's using the Marine Band channel. Bear
Yeah.
season too. That's what they
Yep.
do. But
All the
Jim,
bear hunters.
all the bear hunters do the Marine. But Jim, I'm gonna go ahead and say no. I actually traveling. You always got it. I'm gonna give you expert tips. Traveling, got to get a scanner. Okay, I use my unit ends. Love my unit ends.
I got
right?
3, 5.
Okay.
I don't know. I lose track.
I went along, put it in the car. You just let it run, right? I put in all what I call the Part 95 stuff. So MERS, GMRS, FRS, CB. I
That's not a bad
actually
idea.
heard FMCB being used when I was traveling through the south suburbs of Chicago. And honestly, it was business band stuff and being done. And I'm like, wow, this actually sounds pretty good.
Legit
Good. But the audio is because it's FM now. It's not AM.
Right,
Like, hey,
yeah.
no, go. But I
That's
mean,
mostly what they said.
yeah. Well, that was. I hope everybody had their translator.
Some of the guys, some of the guys on CB have really good audio, especially on sideband.
Well, if they don't, the modulation is probably the worst part, Chuck, because they're either eating the mic or they got their CBs modified by Big John's Hillbilly Hoedown CB truck shop.
What I said is some of the guys,
right? I know.
I mean,
I
a lot
know.
of those guys are, and some of those guys are actually hams too. So,
Well,
we talked to the guy that sold you that antenna. He was big time into CB also.
he's also from
Jim,
Boston.
Do any of your CBs have echo? Is that why you're so jealous?
Yeah, the Striker has echo.
The Striker
Well,
probably
just try
does,
it,
yeah.
man. Once you go echo,
I'm
it's
good.
over.
Striker's coming out of the truck. The CB antenna's coming off the truck. I'm done. I'm done. I may bring the Striker in here and play with it occasionally, but I'm done with it.
Jim, you have to remember though, if it wasn't for CB in 1977, the year will live in infamy when the Great Coors Run took place.
Right.
CB saved them, Jim.
Right. They're thirsty in Atlanta, and there's beer in Texarkana.
Yep.
Okay, I have to say, I'm going to admit this. I do have some CB cred. My dad had CBs when he died. Of course, they were all still sitting there where they were, and I used to play with them back in the 70s. And when I left for Hamvention a week and a half ago, I put on Jerry Reed and listened to Smokey and the Bandit on repeat 2 or 3 times.
You have to listen to when you're driving, eastbound and down.
That's right.
Or no, I'm sorry, westbound and down. Sorry, westbound.
It was eastbound.
It was eastbound. Okay, it was eastbound. Okay, I couldn't see.
It was eastbound.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're thirsty in Atlanta, and there's beer in Texarkana. He was driving the beer run from Coors Beer, I guess, when it was actually Coors Beer and not Miller or whatever it is.
Because they couldn't go across the Mississippi line.
Yeah.
My 8-year-old is familiar with that song. I play that when we go traveling. Anytime we go traveling, turn it on.
Right. It's a great road song. I love
Not
it.
again, Dad. Not again.
She actually loves it. She gets into it. She's like,
I had a buddy that I worked with that he knew every word in the song and just could repeat it word for word. He must have listened to it a lot.
Dave has a legitimate question, not about CB. John, what was the model? What model was the Yaesu Mini Mobile from the early Audis?
FTM-10R. Well, that was the US version. R was the US version.
Is that smaller than the 90?
FTM-10. Yep. It was a really weird concept. And it was weird because it was built as a motorcycle radio.
Yeah.
That's what I want.
Or I said, either way, I said 10. Wait, hang on a second. There was 2 of them. Hang on.
That one?
So are you looking? Yeah, because there was a 10 and there was the 90. Which one? Because this was the
That's
tiny
sweet.
one too.
I like the
Yeah, the
reverse
10's a
of
tiny
it.
The
one.
90s.
The 90 was small also too, but I guess I'm not sure which one they were looking at. But it should be the 10. Yeah.
Oh, Dave's saying it was the 90. The 90R.
Yeah, the 90R.
The 90R. Which
That's the one
okay.
Tio. That's the one Tio just got. Again.
Yep. So
Yeah,
you're
that's
looking,
the 10 on the screen.
That's the 10 on the screen. Yes. So there was the 90R, which was, yeah, that was a really tiny little kind of compact one on there. But then I thought you were talking about the 10, because the 10 here was designed as a motorcycle. And as a matter of fact, if you actually take a look at it on that picture there you didn't need a microphone on it. You could actually just push the PTT button on there was no microphone needed for the 10.
Could I hook that into my headset
Bluetooth?
easily?
Could.
They didn't have Bluetooth back then.
There was no Bluetooth, but they did have there was an aftermarket cable that was made that you can plug into the microphone, because you could buy a microphone, but you had to buy it separately.
Mhm.
You could actually plug into it, and it would interface into microphone helmets.
This is how small that 90 is.
So is the 10 more waterproof? Is that the?
Yes, it was waterproof, remote head, and it even came in a 10-watt version. Yeah,
really?
that's a nice one. And actually it's a removable head.
It does have a removable head. It's really weird to see removable head on something like this.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Oh
That's
yeah, it
the
says
90?
waterproof.
That's
This
the
is
90, yep.
No,
This
that's
one's not
two-
waterproof.
That's 2 meter 440 or
2 meter 440. Yep.
And you got your data port.
So this is the one that you were talking about on the back. It only has this 3.5 millimeter port.
Okay, the 90. See, I keep getting the 10 and the 90 screwed up. If you look at the 10 has the data port, and the 1900 has it.
It's still data capable. You just have to make your own cable.
Yep.
Now I will say my
hams, we can do
foray
that.
into CB, I've been impressed with this. This is just, I mean, this thing is, it's basically a fat pack of cigarettes. That's all this is. So I'm gonna have to go look at them stupid Yaesus now, because I need another tiny radio instead of this. But
Well, in that great big truck, it'll be easy to hide the FT90.
yeah, well, and see, this is actually small enough I could, and this has got this came with a really cool snap-in bracket. You fasten this and the radio just locks in.
Yaesu does that too on the new ones. My
Do
FTM
they?
6000 has that.
Yeah.
So
And
I
the
was
2 and the
just
3.
looking. I was just looking at that 10. They made a BU1 and a BU2 Bluetooth adapter for those.
Yep. Those were so big in Japan, because I obviously wasn't with them yet at that point in time, but I had one. I had the FTM, the FT90, and then I used the 1900 for well, it was Packet back then. It wasn't APRS, but it was Packet back in the day. And then the 10 was this weird motorcycle radio they came up with, where that was what it was. Because you don't see waterproofing radios anymore.
That's what I loved about the
None of
VX8
mobiles.
was it was just way over engineered for handling all that kind of rain and submersion and all that. I was like, why? What scenario would I be diving with this radio?
Exactly. Exactly.
I loved it.
Well, they used to, and I found this out today. So we had a guy that used to work for Yaesu eons ago. Go ahead and come into the booth, and he says, "Well," so he's like, and I kind of knew of him, but I didn't know him. But we had a good chance to talk, and he says, "You don't have any fish tanks this year." I was like, "What the hell are you talking about, a fish tank?" I mean, I was like, what like doing food or whatever? What do we need a fish tank for? And I guess that's how some of the radios used to be marketed, like the VX8 when it was waterproof, and the VX7. We used to, I guess, suspend the handheld turned on in the water
In a fish tank, yeah.
in a fish tank in there. So, yeah, you're not gonna find that anymore. No.
Oh, I do have
There goes
one
the
other HT here that I neglected to show. It's not, I don't know, it's weird, but I have this one, and it's a Yaesu product, as a matter of fact.
Well, we were talking about that kind of earlier. All that small technology back in the
Super
day.
small one, yeah. And this is a great size. The battery charger for it is kind of weird, and I had to buy a couple batteries because I bought this used off of eBay, but it came with the mic and everything. And this is one case where it's probably easier to talk on this stupid thing than it is to use this. But it's great. It's tiny. I got to 3D print a bracket or something for it to mount on the visor in the truck.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Did you put that on a power meter, test its power output?
I have not. I'm actually going to be working on a video today, tomorrow, this weekend. I've got 2 or 3 things I want to put on the spectrum analyzer. This CB for one, and then the Pico. And I did do that, has been on the spectrum analyzer. And I think it was like 2 watts, 3 watts, something like that.
So that little Yaesu you have, Jim, that would be a good EDC radio because it just, shirt pocket size.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. The only problem with the radio is the same problem with the Pico. The audio on it is, with the volume turned up all the way, it's hard to hear it. That's why the speaker mic comes in handy because you can get it a little closer to your head. But
going back to Dennis's find there, what's also probably pretty cool about that, Dennis, and I bet you're going to find out there. You said it takes 8 AA's. You're going to get probably the full wattage out there.
Yeah, the 7 watts or whatever.
Yeah, so many of the.
What is that? 12 volts?
Stuff.
I don't want math on stream.
I can't math.
Especially with the
how many volts?
1.5
rechargeable batteries, right?
Yeah, 12.
Times 8 would be 12 volts.
Should be 12.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's something thing about those older radios. You can actually get the full wattage out on there.
Jim, what was that model number on your radio again?
On the Yaesu, it's a VX2.
Yaesu.
Yeah, it's a VX2. Okay. You getting a picture? I didn't get a picture.
The guy in the
somebody's
chat was
asking.
Stephen Reynolds.
VX2. There's a couple listed on eBay right now.
I will tell you this: if you go actually look online to some places that may be over, let's say near Russia, there that sell a cloned knockoff of the VX3.
I'm sure there's plenty.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I think it's a cool radio. Bill's got a VX3 and that's his suitcase radio. So it's just the one you carry everywhere, Bill. Is that what that means when you're on the road traveling? Stephen, that was a VX2. I guess that's what Tio was asking.
Yeah, that's the question. Yep.
You mean you're supposed to carry small radios when you go traveling? I have to carry a suitcase for all my radios.
You have a separate suitcase?
I have a separate suitcase.
Checked luggage. Yep.
Someone, look, I even pointed the right way. Someone brought a suitcase full of antenna kits to Hamvention.
No, it was just half
So
of
proud.
it. Just
And
half the kit.
I'm trying to imagine the
Full
TSA
kits.
guy when that suitcase went through the scanner and they saw rolls of wire and
They don't even. They don't care.
No, stuff that really looks bad, they don't care about. Your
Right.
shoes, your
I would
laptop,
suspect a bunch of wound wire.
They did care about battery cells, though. They were so dense.
Yeah.
That
Well,
they
that was
couldn't
those
see
off brands.
through.
yeah. And then
do,
what's this? Denko? What is that?
Yeah.
That's some kind of off brand.
They
What
just
is
had to look at every single one of my batteries in my.
Did you get the
my
swab?
Carry on.
He got
Did you get the
swabbed.
swab?
You did.
Yeah.
Each one of
Yeah, I get.
So when I said they were tested, people were like, "How did they test them? Did they capacity?"
Right.
test-" I'm like,
I thought
"No."
they were looking like,
They
are they
were
actually electrical?
swabbing
They have
each one.
multimeters.
and
Yeah.
checking them out.
I get that a lot.
I know.
I'm TSA approved and everything, but even then, it's like I always take the radios and I have like in my backpack, I have the one slot for the radio with the battery unattached and the battery on the other side. But if you have too many close together, you're gonna get checked by
and
TSA.
I'm TSA pre, and
Yeah.
I know. What was
I got
what
all
was
this
I
grief
thinking?
about
Thinking that the TSA was going to actually legitimately test a battery to see if it like produced voltage or something.
I didn't think that. I figured they just swabbed them more.
Yeah.
You know,
Security theater.
Yeah. What's that? Is that a scope on a hair dryer? Yeah. Just let's move the line, please. Here. It's like, whoa,
Yeah.
there's a battery.
Well,
Yeah.
you look at Dennis and you just know he could be sketchy.
yes.
The bowling
it's
ball
like,
candle.
why is this guy?
So
Why does the guy
this
got
is
so
an
many
interesting-
batteries in his bag?
Yeah. What he's probably with that old guy that had all the wires in his bag. Oh, we caught us some dudes here. So what about this comment? Changing over to LifePo for HT batteries versus Lion batteries. I mean, on the
What are you
old ones,
saying,
we know they're all
NiCads?
NiCad or NIMH. Well, if they're old enough, they're NIMH or NiCad, yeah.
So on Amazon, you can buy the lithium for an FT60. Is there a problem with that, John?
Not
Okay,
really.
well,
A lot of it, and this is an interesting. So you got to remember, a lot of it is impacted by government regulations, believe it or not. And then the aspect also too is of charging abilities on there. Motorola has made, as a good example, Motorola has made a crap ton of money on battery technology, because if you don't put the right battery with the right charger, then you're going to have nightmares. I'm sure we'll evolve. I mean, we've gone from double A's back in the day to NiCad, then to nickel metal hydride, to lithium ion, and I'm sure it's just going to go ahead and progress. How soon? I really don't know. As being an RC car enthusiast, and with me, and I have a bunch of kits and stuff like that, I've seen that battery technology change and evolve. But the one thing that has a problem keeping up with it is the charging technology.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you. Here's the biggest thing they have to take a look at it. Public safety, we don't give a crap, right? We have the batteries, and the batteries are on the handhelds on there. There's no way to charge a battery through the radio, right? You have to actually put it into a charger or take the battery off and doing that.
Yep.
That's fine in the public safety world. Hams, we're a different breed. And what we need to do is we need to be able to charge with the radio. We need to charge this. I personally, this is me. I don't think that we'll be able to overcome that hurdle until we can go ahead and come to realization that we can't use plug-in to the radio. We actually have to use a desktop charger, because I use a lot of the LiPo FE, LiPo for whatever models or whatever. I use a lot of that stuff, but I use the ones that I can get relatively good quality but inexpensive from like Cabela's or whatever hunting supply store for like trolling motors, right? But you have to have special chargers on there, and you really have to take care of the battery. We don't take care of batteries as hams. We don't.
Fireman, son, even worse.
Oh, they are, but see, that's the mentality we have though. But we throw it on the charger and we let it cook. We don't
We
let
leave
it
it.
go.
We have it turned on the charger and let it sit there all day.
Yeah, exactly. And then that will go ahead and do that. But that's the problem with I have seen personally on lithium iron polymers and stuff like that. That critical voltage is so necessary. And some hams that I know, not everyone, but some that I know, man, they want to squeeze blood out of a turnip for a battery. And I'm like, guys, when it gets low, like, you got to say no. That's kind of a joke. Too low, say no, because it's going to go ahead and die out on you too quickly. So,
Yep.
Yeah, TO has experience with that.
have you killed
Dead
a couple of them?
force.
I kill them all the time. I've got a 100 amp hour LiFePO 4 that I have got down to 1.6 volts. It's
Ooh.
just not supposed to happen.
Oh, yes.
It's
Yeah.
going back.
We're
Yeah,
an hour
someone
and a
was
half.
talking about
We are.
the original NiCad battery that I have for this HTX 202, and I should hack it and put in my own cells. And the problem with that is, okay, it has this charging barrel jack on the back, but that's configured for charging NiCad, and it's a completely different charging profile. So I don't know how I would charge a lithium ion replacement or even a LiFePO 4 replacement in the back without reopening the thing and attaching alligator clips or something. I don't
Alligator
know how I
clips,
would do it.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a challenge. It's easy to create the replacement, but it's hard to figure out the charging.
Boss lady spoken.
Y'all make sure you hit the like button.
Did you see Chuck? What?
That might be code. That might be code to Chuck
Yes.
too.
Right.
Oh,
No. She says hit that like button, and she's correct.
That's
As always.
code that Chuck, you need to
As
take out
always.
the trash.
No, I don't
That's
need
like
to
an
be told to do that.
002 code.
He's a
on the
good boy.
beeper.
He learned a long
Right.
time ago. He's been married 44 years. He knows when to take the
Right.
trash out.
Garbage is my job.
Yeah. I'm output
Right.
control here too. Yeah. Output management.
You guys got me
Fellas, it has been a
scouring
great
the internet.
Saturday morning, but we could keep talking about this forever. And I know a lot of us have eyeballs that are turning yellow. So I'm going to hit the button and wave everybody on. Safety check, safety check.
Safety.
Nice.
Safety. Will Robinson.
Thank you, John. Thank you, Dennis.
thank you.
Guys,
Thank you.
appreciate
Thanks for
y'all
having me.
calling
Thanks,
in.
guys.
Dennis, I
Yeah.
know this was hard for
Thanks
you. waking
everybody
up
in the
this early.
chat.